Hello, just to reiterate that this week's podcast is a parody. There are no personal attacks intended on any of the people or the stories that we reference because it's a parody. Woke Asian guy.
And egg white.
Should I refer to you as Wokey?
Yes, you can call me Wokey, Woke Asian guy. There's always a warm-up element involved in this. Does that make you feel better?
Is that what you're talking about?
No, absolutely not. Your name this week is Oliver Reed. That's your generic white guy name. Oliver, ask me what's pissing me off this week.
Can we have a theme tune?
Yeah. I'm going to put the theme tune now. There you go. What do you think of the theme tune?
That's amazing. Can I have my own theme tune as well?
Okay, here's your own theme tune.
It just sounds weird now, so bye.
How about that?
Oh, that's amazing.
Shall we just get straight to the shit?
Okay, so
should we just say what's pissing me off?
What is annoying Wokey?
Radio 4. That's this week's rant. That's what pisses me off. And it's probably good that you, Oliver Reed, is on the call because the demographic for Radio 4 is you, not me. And I want it to be me, but it will never be me. And it'll just be you. Do you listen to Radio 4?
Should I say yes? Yes, I do, yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing some Jedi mind shit on you. So when's the last decent Radio 4 play you listened to?
They have quite a good variety of plays on the BBC Sound. I mean, to be honest, right, I don't listen to Radio 4 as a live streaming radio service. It's more of the BBC Sounds app. You get away. Yes, I listen to Radio 4, but not in the conventional sense of how you're saying I listen.
So you listen to it as AOD, audio on demand.
Yes.
Why don't you fucking say that?
Well, you just have.
Oh, okay. Well, that corrects that one. I am a frustrated writer, right? So I'm writing loads of shit that no one reads. That's fine. So I've decided to write a 45-minute radio play. And what do you do with research when you're going to submit something to a radio station that does plays?
You listen to it.
Yay! Wow. Yeah, you're on the ball, Oliver. So I listened to basically 15 45-minute plays. And all of them were basically mental. Essentially, all of it's old school. All of it's all these middle-class people just with their fake middle-class anxieties. All of it's just like pointless.
So the people in the plays that you're listening to are, did you say, is you a middle class?
Yes. It's like post-war conversations that they've recorded on the wireless. They just had these monologues of like people. I don't know anyone who talks like that. And I have a broad range of friends, not just you, surprisingly. They talk in this stilted manner about subjects that's pretty like, it just cancels itself out.
I'm not really understanding what you're really saying. So could you...
Oh, that's fine.
Basically just use words instead of just kind of making noises.
Yeah, okay. I'll try to formulate these as words. So one play I listened to is about a woman with a dead alcoholic husband who wants to give her house to some kid that she accidentally traumatized. A childhood friend of her adopted son. Does that sound convoluted?
I take it's not a comedy. It's a drama, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a drama. There's no black humor or anything to it.
Yeah, but life is pretty complicated, isn't it? So sometimes it's kind of it's so kind of granular and so niche that actually that's what makes it relatable.
So do you know anyone in a believable sense that would give their house to their adopted son's friend?
It depends on the situation. I think many people, I would like to think many people probably would, depending on the situation. So why is it you don't like it?
It's not diverse enough. And it's just one demographic of people that record and write Radio 4 plays. 4 plays. I said 4 plays. Yep, this is one other play where the entire subplot was about the gut.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's mental? All they did was talk about the gut. So this is voiceover goes, yes, the gut. Sometimes you get irritable bowel syndrome. There is no understanding of how irritable bowel syndrome because science has not fathomed that out. This isn't a play I'm listening to. Do I really give a fuck about someone's gut?
Give us a bit of background. Whose gut was it?
I don't know. I sort of tuned out after about like 10 minutes in.
You got to give it. Look, if you're going to criticise, you've got to give it the full. You've got to get the full facts because then we can work with the full information, can't we?
Oliver,
moment, you're just going.
I
At
tried.
the moment, you're just saying I don't want to, oh, it's just someone's guts. So yeah, man. I just want to. Yeah, oh my god, it's just I can't get behind someone's guts. But actually, those guts might have been behind, like let's say they might have been the guts of a war hero. They might have been the guts of a prime minister. They might have been the guts of a vile dictator. You don't know because you didn't listen, because you didn't give it the time of day, because you've already made a preconceived idea about something.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The actual episode is definitely not talking about the guts of a D-Day survivor. It's not talking about a dictator like General Pinochet. And it's not talking about anyone that's even remotely relatable to me in any way, shape, or form. It's just a husband and wife couple having having the most shittest domestic ever, and using the gut as some kind of weird counterpoint. That's the thing about the Radio 4 plays, is the fact that it's just all subtext, and some of it maybe it's just making me look stupid, but the subtext is a bit too subtexty for me. Is the gut what? Is the gut reference to their relationship? The food that travels through and just like they shit it out? Is their marriage just shat out on the pan? Then they flush their marriage away. That's how deep this shit gets, and I don't really understand it.
Well, that's you probably completely, you just jokingly mentioning it. Then I think you probably hit the nail on the head. It probably is a complete metaphor for their relationship. So the initial spark, the initial kind of taste, the amazing kind of taste of a relationship when you first put that food in your mouth, and it's something like a food you've never tasted before, and it's just all your sensations and your taste buds are going completely crazy. Like what the hell is this? That's the feeling that you get when you're in love, isn't it? That's you could liken that to a love. And then obviously, as the relationship kind of goes along, and it's not so much of, it becomes more of a everyday. Sometimes it could be more mundane, or you become more complacent, a bit like the food kind of traveling down your digestive system, and then until you shit it out, and obviously then that would be the breakup of a relationship, or the very, very down dark days of a relationship. I don't know. I haven't listened to the radio play, but I'm trying to get behind and get what the writer could possibly be thinking. And you say that you are a writer. Surely you should be doing this as well. So what kind of stuff are you writing? What is the stuff that you're writing?
But no, okay, no.
Ironically, the stuff that you're writing, you want to be on Radio 4. So what is it that you're writing?
Because I want to write shit.
What is it that you're writing?
Okay,
look, don't make me do my Paxman. Don't make me do my Paxman.
No, I'm giving you a compliment.
What are you writing?
I'm about to give you a compliment.
What are you writing?
No, I'm going to get to that in a sec.
Don't let me do my Paxman.
Can I just give you a compliment?
Okay.
Can I just give you I'm actually giving you a genuine compliment. Okay? And then I'll explain exactly what I'm writing that somehow is not part of the Radio 4 universe. The way you described the story in your own view of the gut, it was a better pitch than me having to listen to the entire 45-minute play. I actually would commission that if I was a commissioner. What you just said.
That's probably how I got commissioned.
But you didn't pitch the project. But your rendition of it is amazing. It's absolutely brilliant. I was engaged. I was like, the gut, the metaphor, everything. You're like Terrence Malick, but for radio. It's like the thin red line of food. Before you start getting all Paxman on me again, this is actually based on a true story. It's called 51st Arranged Dates. So it's a 45-minute play that I wrote based on a really embarrassing situation. Would you like to know more?
It's all right. No one really listens to the earlier podcasts, so carry on.
That's fine. Wow. Say it like it is. So basically, in a nutshell, I was trying to be middle class, people talking about their anxieties that somehow no one in the real world has. This is real issue that I went through.
Wokey, I just have to stop you there. Right. What is your hang up with middle class?
Well, no, it's only I've got no hang up with middle class.
You've mentioned it a number of times. You don't, and you've mentioned it a number of times of the issues of middle class and you think Radio 4 is their plays are tailored towards the middle class. What is it that you have got against the middle class?
I know I've got nothing against the middle class across the board. That's not the issue. It's just that Radio 4 has a concentration of middle class end to end. Every single play of those 15 that I listen to, It was the same kind of anxiety thing that no one else gets through. It reminds me of those dinner parties I have, where I'm just like, I drift in and out of people's conversations because, I bought a car last week. Yeah, a giant vehicle. Yeah. I just customized it with a new engine. Yeah. It does like 16 gallons to like the pound. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what-
Yeah. My new car goes boom, 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 boom. It's even got a horn that goes bop, bop, bop. I honk it at people that I think are less superior than I am. It makes me feel like I've got
Technically.
a cock that's 3 feet long. Yeah. So you've just said that you like dinner parties. You host dinner parties. You live in West London. You basically are saying that you are middle class. You live in middle class existence. You are the woke Asian guy. You are Mr. Middle Class, right? And yet you've got something against middle classes and the representation of middle classes. So have you got like body or class dysmorphia?
No, but I'd love to know what that is. But that's for another. I'm going to put that in the show notes.
It's basically like, it sounds to me that you're picking up on, and what you're saying you don't like about Radio 4 is actually all the insecurities about yourself. And you're saying that you don't like this about Radio 4 because it's all very middle class. And actually you're living a very middle class existence, and there's nothing wrong with that. For even you to admit that you're middle class is like, would be, oh, that's bad, because no, I want to be this edgy kind of writer, man. Oh yeah, I want to be an edgy writer. Yeah, I've been working the streets. Yeah, going around some seedy kind of back alleys, just getting my ideas, and yeah, I've been doing all that. And when actually the truth is, you've basically been living in a very nice, safe kind of suburban West London neighbourhood for a number of years. And
maybe that's pissing me off.
Yeah.
Basically, I am accidental middle class trying to be working class.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to write stories from the street. And again, Radio 4 doesn't write stories from the street. They write it from the street in 1947, but not now. Now, there's this other show that I listened to, right? It was about this Black Asian minority ethnic writer. That's all cool. It's all great. But once it got through the development process of Radio 4, the main character who wanted to be a street rapper was the most unconvincing, most unrealistic street rapper ever.
Hold on. So, but you've just said that the writer was from the minority of the same.
You can say POC. There's loads of acronyms. BAME, POC, BBC, ITV.
So the main character was what ethnicity or
he was black. He was black.
Okay,
He's an up and coming black writer, but he was corrupted within the system, kid.
And the writer, you think that it's like someone's just gone to Oxbridge, and so can maybe that black writer went to Oxbridge? No.
Maybe I might need to do my research on this, because that's something we don't do. But he's trying to do something street related.
Blast from the past. Joves, can you clarify a few things about the writer, please?
Seriously, just unplug me. I've had enough.
Yeah, look, just don't insult me. Just actually get to the facts.
Are you actually still doing this stupid podcast? I thought you would have given up by now.
So that's cleared that one up.
Okay, cool. Yep, I've been schooled on that one. Thank you, James. Bastard.
So what you're saying is
basically the street rapper.
Yeah, no. That's not even getting into the plot of this. This first, you're saying that this play that has been written by black writer, and it's a play being commissioned on Radio 4. Now, Tick, you are very pro this. You think this is very, very, a progressive move. Yes. Am I right?
Yes.
But then you think that something is missing. It's like the dialogue is, has been almost, it doesn't sound realistic to you, and almost as if it's been written by a whole load of Oxbridge graduates.
Then he shouldn't be writing it if he's going to do a street rapper that lives in like an urban area in London. It should be given to someone who's like got the authentic voice. It's like getting goat curry or curry goat and putting chips in it and go, well, it's now authentic, ain't it?
Really? It's what? So you can only write what you know?
Well, yeah.
Hang on. So
Peter Morgan writing about the Queen and the royals.
Hold on. So this is actually quite an important point. So how do you feel about actors? Well, how do you feel about Eddie Redmayne playing Stephen Hawking?
Because he's not Stephen Hawking disabled.
Yes.
So, okay, no, you got a good point. I mean, I think he was the best actor to play Stephen Hawking.
Tom Hanks playing Forrest Gump. Tom Hanks, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have a learning disability.
Yeah, but he was the best actor for the role. That's the thing. He played a very good role. Anyway, to go back to that, you remember that story I was just telling you now about the woman who tried to give her house to that son's friend, the adopted son's friend. The adopted son was black.
Okay, so hang on. So you just changed radio play because you can't think of. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah.
I was actually going to give an anecdote. There's a whole subplot where they're talking about goat curry goat, and it went on for ages.
Yeah.
Because the white mother, she made curry goat, or was it goat curry? And it was wrong. So the son had to correct him, go, no, it's curry goat or goat curry. And he had to carry on. That was probably the most diverse thing out of the entire episode of the house giving.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Did they culturally research that? Is it curry goat curry? Because all you have to do is Google it.
Yeah, but surely that's part of the what they're doing is they're trying to put it into context and make it relatable, right? So sometimes you don't know what to say, do you? And actually having and a lot of the time hearing people kind of going, oh, sorry, I don't really know what to say. Surely that's quite honest and that's quite refreshing. Surely, so why are you mocking kind of this honest and refreshing approach? I don't really understand your point against it. Let's move on to the play about the grime artist. Okay, so what don't you like about that? Obviously, you think that the dialogue or the when he's the script is not in keeping with with urban speak.
Yeah, it didn't have the right lingo to it.
Okay, I'm gonna put it out there. How do you know?
I've got quite a wide range of friends, and I listen to quite a lot of street music myself. Thank you very much.
So when you say you got quite,
because I'm down with it.
You've got quite a wide range of friends. Sorry, I don't really understand what you're saying.
Oh, I've got quite a wide range of friends from various backgrounds and various kind of like socio-economic backgrounds. So when someone is very street, I can tell they're street because I can get down with it. And this play seemed to have been transmogrified from a street. You might as well just written it in Soho House, right next to a bar. Don't go out of Soho House and go around Soho and Fitzrovia and just look at all the kind of like lowlives and all the kind of like the melting pot of diversity. Just write what you think they're like.
Well, give me an example of the dialogue which you think was unrealistic.
Well, I didn't actually make a note of the dialogue because this is all anecdotal.
Okay, fantastic.
So what I'm going to do?
Point.
Fantastic
point there, Mr. Wokey. As it's a recording, you're going to edit this to make me look like a complete idiot guy. Okay, yeah, I know my place. All right,
brother. Don't need no editing to make you look bad. Just saying. And they always use pretentious lines. Right? Another play. There's actually one whole line. It was like, smiley-faced emoji melting in the rain. Who says that? Have you said that to your friends in a pub? Look at that drink. It's a smiley-faced emoji melting in the rain.
Well, Wocation guy, right? You're a writer. You've obviously heard of like artistic license.
Pretentious artistic license is a bridge too far for me.
So give me the context of the smiley emoji melting in the rain.
Yeah, sounds very much like Blade Runner, doesn't it?
Give me the context. Give me the context.
The context is actually this one was actually quite interesting, but borderline pretentious. So basically, it's Joseph Conrad's famous play, Hearts of Darkness, and the lady was playing a person that had to go up the river to find Kurtz and kill Kurtz and all that. The horror, and at one point, and because it's like a pretentious melange, right? It was like they put modern elements into it. So she's like going in a speedboat and she's got machine guns and they got a helicopter and she keeps mentioning it, all of this and all that. Then they have to put the old pretentious photometer a little bit over, and while she's wistfully staring across the lake, she goes, smiley faced emoji melting in the rain. So taking a historical context, drama, modernizing it, then basically sprinkle a little pretension in.
In what way is that pretentious? So okay, so they're doing a modern adaptation of an older play. Yeah, you don't have a problem with that. I take it you're probably, in fact, you're the type of guy that in the mid-90s you probably would have had Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet on your wall, and you would have listened to nothing other than the soundtrack on repeat.
Yes.
You're that type of guy, aren't you?
Yes.
That's what we're dealing with here, right? So therefore you actually quite like the fact that it's and appreciate an old play being put into a modern context. You're probably a fan of Sherlock as well, with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. And appreciate what Stephen Moffat has done with that, or even Elementary, the one with Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu in the US version. So again, there's nothing really bad there that you don't like. At the end of the day, it's a story, isn't it? And we are all storytellers. This is what you're doing when you're writing. You want to be that storyteller. So you don't have any problem with initial stories or putting them into, because obviously a good story, it doesn't matter what time you set it in, that it's relatable, whatever. And this is with the examples I've just given, this is proof that that's the case. So by putting it into modern context, and then you need to update your references. But if you can tie in a modern reference with part of the original text, then that's not pretentious. Surely that's actually quite clever, and quite clever wordplay, and quite a clever wording. And surely that's using language to their advantage and kind of getting the best out of language, because it was written by a writer and someone who appreciates in the English language and writing. And surely that's what you should be doing, calling yourself a writer.
Yes,
it's like
I write real words for real people.
Wait, okay, listen. If you listen to my point, you little, get off your soapbox, you woke little twat.
Hold on a sec. I'm just getting off my soapbox. Carry on.
What I actually said with that was, what the writer, whoever they are, was probably trying to do, and I don't know because I've not listened to it, because you're the one having a go at me. But once again, your ill-informed, preconceived ideas and opinions are completely uninformed and uneducated. Ironic, considering the background, but it's the background that you try and make out that you don't have. When you kind of walk into like a bar, when you're allowed to walk into a bar, do you sort of like adjust you sort of walk in going, all right, mate, all right, yeah, oh yeah, it's been a hard day, yeah, ooh. Look at me, I'm ever so working class, oh yeah, ooh. And try and fit in? Or are you a social chameleon?
I try to be a social chameleon. Well, I have to sort of like deliver to the fans. And if my fans are of various backgrounds, I shall adjust my patois.
Anyway, what this writer was obviously trying to do was trying to link something new and contemporary with the previous text of the play. And so, all right.
So she sent an emoji to someone.
Okay. So you don't think this worked very well. That's fine. It's subjective. We're all allowed that opinion because we're in the arts, and it's all subjective. But surely you can appreciate what they're trying to do. Whereas I don't think anyone could appreciate what you're trying to do, which is, I don't really know, you're kind of criticising someone for picking someone up on, you're just saying, well, they're doing this and you're doing this, but you're going in with a very narrow-minded, preconceived idea already, without kind of going, well, it might have been this, or they might have been trying to do this.
Yes, that's because I've got a massive chip on my shoulder.
Completely.
Can you see it?
Ironically, would you like fish with that?
Yes.
Ironically,
put some mayonnaise on that shit as well.
That's probably you're doing the complete opposite to what you're coming across, the complete opposite way in which you actually want to.
I feel like I'm actually learning from you, which is interesting. So what you're saying is smiley-faced emoji melting in the rain is actually sublime art.
It doesn't really matter what I say, however I come across, because you're just going to edit it just so I'm oh yeah, look.
I'm just saying you're the benchmark, you're the key demographic. Don't you think, as someone who is of that demographic, don't you think I want to listen to something a little bit different?
Well, that is a little bit different, isn't it?
Not really. Don't you get bored of like listening to people's anxieties, unrelatable anxieties?
Hang on. You've just contradicted yourself. That you've said that it's kind of you've said before that was different, and that's a little bit too different. Now you're saying it's too different, well known within certain circles. I've never heard of fucking thing, but I'm uncultured, so I don't really, so I'm probably not the best person to judge this. So they're taking this story and putting it into, which is supposedly well known, and putting it into a modern context, or they're taking a story which is probably well known within a certain demographic, and they're trying to make it appealing to a different demographic, whether that's age or gender or race or whatever. So surely, what is the problem with doing that?
Oh, well,
Is that not what Baz Luhrmann did with William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet in the 90s?
Technically, yes, but he made it fun and entertaining and not stale.
And why is it stale?
It's stale.
Yeah, but then we're getting just to subjectivity, aren't we? So you just don't like it because you think it's boring, and that's fine. You're perfectly allowed.
No, it's not boring by any means, because they seem to have like a massive fan base and a following. And I'm sure that everyone's just going to basically email me, because people get triggered over certain things. And I think because I'm mentioning Radio 4 and the plays on there, which are all very well made, got no criticism, but it just seems a bit all samey.
This is basically you. So what I'm saying is, I don't really like Radio 4, but I do like Radio 4, but I don't like Radio 4, but I do like it. Is your name Boris Johnson? You actually Boris Johnson? I don't go out, but do 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 go out. Because that's what you're sounding like. Is everything so literal with you?
Yes.
Okay, so but you're supposed to be a writer.
Yes. Well, I'm a failed writer.
How are you supposed to be a writer? How are you supposed to be a writer if everything you do is literal? Well, surely the point of writing is so you can write from different points of view. Even if you're doing a story which is very literal, it would have more than one character in, and then you need to write empathy with a different, so people can actually feel that empathy with different characters.
Yes.
I mean, you haven't really thought this whole woke thing through, have you?
No, of course not. I'm working it through as I speak it, like most people do in life.
So we might have rebranded this show to you being the woke Asian guy. Okay. Radio 4 is. Well, what else has annoyed you then, woke Asian guy?
Well, nothing else. No, that's pretty much it. That is it. So to pitch my idea.
Hang on. So you've only got annoyed. Okay, sorry, I just find this quite hard to really fathom. You only get annoyed by Radio 4.
Yes.
Do you realise?
Next week I'll be pissed off about Jim Davidson.
Whoa. Okay. Do you realise and do you understand how ironic this is? That the only thing that's annoyed you in the entire world in the last week since we've done the last recording is Radio 4. Do you see? Can you not see just how fucking middle class that sounds?
I like to pinpoint my frustration on one specific thing. If I get frustrated about everything, I'll end up like you.
I'm not frustrated about everything. I'm just frustrated about you. I'm not frustrated about everything. I just like to know a bit more information before making an opinion, which is maybe you should. I'm not annoyed about everything. You think just because I ask questions, you think that's me being annoyed. That's me just out of curiosity and trying to find things out. Because it appears that maybe actually asking questions is bad, but surely asking questions and finding out all the information so I can then form my own opinion is a good thing. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is I'm going to turn up to a podcast without, we're going, this is the new format of the show. What's going on? I don't really know, because I don't like this, but I don't know why. We are in the same position, are we not, woke Asian guy, where we have a podcast, we had an idea, we wanted to do something different with it, and once again, we have failed because we are totally useless and we can't do anything, and everything we touch turns to shit.
It's a slow burner, put it that way. But to ask you the question about Radio 4, are you happy with the state of Radio 4 plays? Are you happy with the format where it's just one single voice going through the airwaves?
honestly, there were probably 9 times out of 10. I know I don't like Radio 4 plays. I don't like Radio 4 plays, and I could have just said that and could agree with you straight off, and it would have been a very, very short podcast. But at least I've got a few reasons for why I don't like them. It's because I think they sound quite smuggy. They don't really sound, and I try and I persist to try and listen to them. I think they're sometimes quite hard to kind of get on board with very quickly, which, like my attention span is very, very short. If I'm not on board and switched on within the first 30 seconds, then that's it. I might as well just like it's totally off. I think sometimes the
after the podcast, you can go to sleep.
The characters, so sometimes the characters are again, they're a bit stereotyped. I think the characters, they're not particularly well drawn. There are some amazing stuff which is on Radio 4 and not getting away from that, and they do put lots of really great things on and stand up. Back in the day, they had Little Britain and the Mighty Boosh, and obviously Day to Day and all the comedy which we probably can't refer to because it's all been cancelled.
Yeah, you just referred to 2 cancelled shows in every way, shape, and form, which I disagree with.
By your what? No,
but I'm not. No. But that's comedies. I actually like the comedies that they do.
How can you disagree with that? Because you're Mr. Woke, so surely you agree with them being cancelled.
No. I disagree. They should not be cancelled. They are sort of capsules of their time. They're quite horrific in terms of like poor taste, especially with Little Britain. But they were made. They were big in the day, and they should be kept around, not be cancelled by any means. But
that's not a very woke thing to say.
I've actually switched off the woke button on my machine just for like 15 seconds. It's been like, again, we've talked about curry and chips. That should be in circulation, just as a historical context.
Yeah.
But you're talking But you're talking about comedy, Alexis Sale, or the comedy. I'm talking about drama. You walk into a pub with your mate to do a 5-hour drinking session. Those are the kind of like dialogue, story structure that should be on Radio 4. And face it, Radio 4 is the only one doing actual plays for the ears. No other station is really doing it. So there's only one kind of like funnel to put your words in. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. But where's that your drinking session for 5 hours talking to your mates going, yeah, then I did this and this, that, and all that, then are you going to turn around and just like go, oh, look, mate, sorry, I was going to look at my phone with my tear-filled emojis riding around in the rain?
You're making quite a lot of assumptions.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm making a load of assumptions.
You're making quite a lot of assumptions. Firstly, I've got mates, right?
Yes.
You're making an assumption, yeah. Secondly, I go on 4 or 5 hour drinking binges.
Because you do know I like to reinvent reality. You do know that.
Well, so as a writer, obviously you can do it. Then you can do it. So you're not that literal. So surely, why can't you put yourself in the position of and see things from the writer's point of view, what they're trying to do and what they're trying to achieve?
Yeah, but it's not the worlds that I seem to live in. And in fact, none of them, what I've listened to, are the world that I live in. You want to live in a world where you think, oh God, I could smell Hackney or Fitzrovia. I could smell the pub they're drinking in.
You and Fitzrovia. You and Fitzrovia. I want to smell Fitzrovia. Oh yeah. I want to smell all the cunts drinking all their fucking overpriced coffee.
If you want to look at it in this context, Soho is middle class. Fitzrovia is working class. So I strive as a middle class person by accident to go into the working class atmosphere, even though they've got quite nice pubs. But that's not the point.
Hang on.
And overpriced beers.
Hang on. You're saying Fitzrovia?
Yes.
In central London is working class.
Well, if you compare it to Soho, yes. It's that little bit less dynamic, bit more rough and ready.
No.
It's got the Charlotte Street Hotel.
You really, I don't think you can really get away with that one. And why do you say you're middle class by accident?
Well, just the friends I've hang around with, all the people I hang around with. They're trying to drag me up a level when I want to drag myself down a level and be a bit more street. because that's where the writing is real. All the stuff that I write is real. It's authentic stories, and they're taking that away from me, Kit. Radio 4 and the shows, they're all taking it away from me.
Tell me a plot of one of your real stories.
Well, to go back, basically, see, this ticks quite a few boxes. It ticks the older diversity box, ticks the older gender bias box, and a couple of other boxes. I went through an eccentric period where my parents tried to marry me off. Yes, it happened. And I met these range of ladies who basically were not compatible with me, not because they weren't compatible with me, but because I wasn't compatible with them, and they're all quite eccentric and bizarre.
Yeah.
So that's pitch one. Pitch two is so basically the range of women I actually met, one of them couldn't stop crying, not because of me. She just couldn't stop crying. So I was like, that's a great start. Another one
No,
couldn't speak English.
Wait. You're a writer, right?
Yes.
You're going to the story. I don't want to know the story. Just give me the pitch. Because all you've said is like so far is all I've heard is me. I'm a commissioning editor. I don't know who the fuck you are. You seriously have got like an egocentric complex, which just like, as the adjective, just because I've pulled this up on Google right now, egocentric. 1, thinking only of oneself without regard of other feelings or desires of to others.
Tick.
Self-centered. Egocentric loners with an overinflated sense of self-worth. Right?
Tick.
Okay. But why is that going to be any more relatable than the plays that you've criticised on Radio 4?
Well, it's just a different voice, isn't it?
I think you're criticising the things on Radio 4 because actually you kind of relate to them far more than you actually like to admit that you relate to them. Even in the sense of the writing style, even the sense of their slightly self-indulgent writing style. Yeah, that's a weakness in you.
You're like Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting. You're dropping me with all this science. I'm going to start crying.
So
just like Piers Morgan, you made some valid points, and you made some not so valid points.
So it goes back to your play, your writing.
Yes.
Regardless, I don't want to know that it's about your history. I want to know what the play is about. So give me the 1 minute elevator pitch. We're about to go up. Doors go now.
Okay. So the story is about this guy in his mid-20s whose parents are trying to marry him off, even though he's actually a British-born Asian. And the ladies that he's actually introduced to are not exactly all there. So some of them. So basically, it's yes, I'm actually going to edit this to make me look better. So the elevator pitch is something I've not practiced. That is actually the pitch. So do I get my commission?
Okay. It might tick one box. It ticks the Asian box.
Yes.
Tick.
And also, more importantly, it's tick the didn't do his homework box. That's a big plus.
It sounds very, very misogynistic. Because you've just said that it's about a guy, Indian guy, in his mid-20s or early 20s, and his parents trying to marry him off, meeting these women. You're implying there's something wrong with the women.
Oh no,
there's not. Well, that's how it came. That's if you listen back, that's you actually implying that there's something wrong with the women and not the central character. Surely the whole point is there is something not wrong, but there's something different about this guided character because he doesn't want that, and that's the problem. That's the problem. So there's nothing wrong. There's something quite like eccentric and quirky, and that's where the humour comes from the women that he's trying to be paired off with. But there's nothing wrong with those women.
Yes, that's because I sold it badly. Can't you tell? You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to do the elevator pitch properly prepared.
So basically, when you recut this, right, and you've put in your amazing elevator pitch, and then you've still left this bit in, you're just going to make me sound like a total and utter prick again, because I've just said some comments which are completely irrelevant,
Well,
and
you've
misguided.
actually made some very good points. I'm actually quite surprised with this podcast. You've been switched on. I'm quite impressed. I actually feel really bad.
So what should we call
So
this
now-
this episode?
Well, I think this episode should be called that Woke Asian Guy Gets Schooled. Because I went in with one particular set ideal of being angry. And now you've actually turned me over going, yeah, maybe the writing is actually really good. Maybe I'm not getting exactly what the writers are doing. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just too angry. So now, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to write a 45-minute play about you and me.
Doing a podcast.
It's going to be doing a podcast that's basically falling on its ass. So one is going to be relatable to all these people that have created podcasts during the pandemic and have no fucking idea what they're talking about. And when the pandemic ends, we are going to get higher ranking because everyone else has gone back to work. This is actually a win-win situation. You see, you find comedy in the most obvious places. We haven't found it for the first 26 fucking episodes of this podcast, but we're still trying, Kit. We're still trying. Okay, so to the end of the podcast. So what we learned? What is Woke Asian Guy? You tell me. What has Woke Asian Guy learned?
But well, surely you're Woke Asian Guy, so surely you should be telling me what you've learned.
I know, but I've been educated very eloquently by you.
What you've learned?
Yes. What have I learned? This is a learning moment.
Well, I hope that what you're going to take away from this is when you go to in your future writing, you can put yourself in different positions to write fuller characters and more identifiable characters.
I will do that.
I hope when you get annoyed about stuff and you want you do Woke Asian Guy rants, I hope that you actually have more than just the idea. You actually, it's padded out with a few other things, like a few points that you want to say. And like you look at something that you don't like, an opinion you don't like, and you look at the background to that opinion. You look at the where it came from. You look at one side of the argument, you look at the other side of the argument, and then you make your own mind up. I hope that's what you're taking away from this.
Yes, I felt I've learned something. You've actually stopped me from being angry at everything now.
Have I turned your life ways into life win?
I'm surprised. You've actually turned my life woe of having a chip on my shoulder and being angry at a certain demographic and made it into a life win because I'm actually fucking middle class. I need to embrace that middle classness. Say goodbye, Kit.
Okay, so thank you, Kit. I thought I was Oliver Reed.
Oh, well, no, I've actually promoted you because you've won me over with your eloquent argument. I've actually given your real name back.
I thought I was a generic white guy. So you're Woke Asian Guy.
Well, no. I'm far too impressed with your... It's like an alcoholic that just basically gets a little bit of wisdom in that salient moment.
Thanks for listening very much. And Wisconsin, we love you.
Yes. Okay.
That's a joke from last episode.
So yeah, you have to remind the audience that doesn't listen that it was a joke from another episode that they didn't listen. Anyway, I am going to single-mindedly be pissed off about something else next week, which you're just going to rip a new arsehole out of me for. So, yes, great. Have a good evening. Goodbye.
Or whenever, or morning, or have a good day, depending on when you listen to this podcast. Ugh.
Stop being politically correct, you bellend.
He still doesn't know the actual platform that we are. Anyway, bye!
Woke Asian Guy!
And egg white.